leaving college. Now he could possibly stay.
He saw the Jets record and was like,
it's all changing. RC here with us. Ryan, good to see you entertaining us on Get Up All Morning with Dominique. Stephen A., let's put it this way. If the Jets do get that #1 pick, you're Trevor Lawrence. What are you going to do?
I'm staying in school. Or I'm going to blackmail him and pull an Eli Manning and say, I'm going anywhere but coming to you. And I take no pleasure in saying this. One of my best friends in the world, my brother Jeff Brown, who y'all all know in Cali, is a diehard Jets fan. And what he has subjected my godchildren to is just cruel and unusual punishment.
Did you just say some of my best friends are Jets fans?
No. One of my one of my best friends, meaning Jeff Brown. And he subjected my godchildren to this atrocity of being a Jets fan. The New York Jets are an atrocity. They are an abomination right now. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1969. They've been to a few AFC championship games when Bill Parcells was there and ultimately when Rex Ryan is there. They've had one winning season since 2010. One winning season since 2010. That's when Rex Ryan was coaching them. Obviously, that one winning season was when Todd Bowles was coaching them in 2015. I'm appalled that Todd Bowles is gone in favor of Adam Gase, who showed up to his introductory press conference. Ha! That's right, I said it. Ha! He looked high, at least from appearances perspective. Looked completely spaced out. Zooted. They've got the worst offense in football, worst in points scored, worst in yards accumulated, worst passing attack. You got a 23-year-old quarterback completing 58% of his passes that is regressing before our eyes, clearly because of the environment around him. And oh, by the way, your leading rusher, who's averaging 3.7 yards a carry, is 37-year-old Frank Gore. This is the New York Jets that we're talking about here. And Trevor Lawrence, who's chilling at Clemson, who has a career 31-1 record as a starter. The only game he's ever lost in his career was a national championship game to LSU. This brother just put up 73 points on Georgia Tech, even with while waving his hair, getting ready to steal hair commercials from Troy Polamalu and others because he's waving his hair around. He's throwing touchdowns all over the place.
Wave his hair one more time.
Just doing all of this, right? This is Trevor Lawrence, okay? And that dude playing for my brother Dabo, sweetie, he's supposed to want to come to the New York Jets? Hell no. He don't have to be a Manning to pull it off. Be just like Eli Manning, okay? You know what? You sit up there and say, hell no, I'm not coming to the New York Jets. And if that is the specter of my future, I would rather stay right here in college and wait another year and risk the potential of injury before I go play for that moribund, pathetic franchise right now. They are a disgrace because Adam Gase is a disgrace. I'm not knocking Douglas because I think he's got potential. Get rid of Adam Gase. He should have never had the job. He should be gone. He's not inspirational. He's not thorough.
Tell us how you really feel.
Get rid of him. Get rid of him.
You're leaving one thing out that they're leading the league in, okay?
What's that?
Losses accumulated. They are leading the league in losses accumulated. You got to give them some credit.
Okay.
Also, fewest wins.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm not teamist for sure, right?
Right.
I can't be accused of being anti-Jets. Some of my best friends are Jets fans, right? Like Stephen A. Actually, that's not true. None of my best friends are Jets fans.
My boy Jeff is a damn shame. It's a damn shame.
Look. Trevor Lawrence is the prize in this draft, so it seems. I go back, forget about losing to LSU, who was a better team last year, and Joe Burrow had maybe the greatest college football season of all time, capped by maybe the greatest game ever played, like move over, Vince Young, you have company, right? But Trevor Lawrence, the year before, dissected Alabama even better than Deshaun Watson, right? And he was younger when he did it. He looks like the real deal. I've been wrong before about college quarterbacks. I thought Sam Bradford was going to take the world by storm. But damn, what any team that needs a quarterback wouldn't do for Trevor Lawrence. I'll say this. If the Jets wind up with the first pick in the draft, if I were Trevor Lawrence, even though it's not a good situation, I'd probably still enter the draft because the amount of money that you risk by staying in college in a full contact sport, even with the rules that favor their quarterback, to be honest, I think most people would be like, I can't pass that up. I'm one of those people. I'll say this, Ryan, I hope the Giants fire Gettleman before this upcoming draft, because if the Giants are in position to draft him, I don't want to hear, well, Daniel Jones is our quarterback. You know, like that dude, Daniel Jones, may turn out to be a pretty good NFL quarterback eventually if he had a line and a running back and receivers and a coach and the whole thing. But he ain't no Trevor Lawrence, and I'm afraid that some idiotic GM is going to think they already have a quarterback who should be picking first if it's not the Jets, and go, we're going to pass on Trevor Lawrence. I wouldn't pass on Trevor Lawrence no matter what.
Yeah, so here's my, this is layered to me. It's kind of like when Donkey was talking to Shrek, and he called Shrek an onion, but he said, no, let's go with a parfait because the parfait is better. This thing has layers. First layer is this. I met Trevor Lawrence when he was in high school. I thought he was he's a beautiful human, but the way he plays ball, it just looks the part. But the weekend I met him, I was coaching 7-on-7 at the Nike opening, and Justin Fields was my quarterback. We won the championship, by the way, and Justin Fields was better. And I left that week, and I was like, man, I've been hearing so much about this Trevor Lawrence kid, but this Justin Fields kid is really good. And so then, they get to college. Justin doesn't play at Georgia. And then, Trevor Lawrence has this great game against Alabama. Now, when you watch the game against Alabama, it was more about those wide receivers than Trevor Lawrence, but I get it. He was there. And then he starts out last season, and he's the Heisman winner before the season starts. And he plays really bad early. And then Joe Burrow has the greatest college football season of all time. And then you watch Trevor Lawrence against Ohio State, and he was okay. And then you watch him against LSU, and you look at those two quarterbacks, and you said the dude in the white jersey and the gold pants is better than the dude in all the orange, which you never would have said at the beginning of the season. And then even when I watched this year, I think it's a little closer between Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields. That's just my feeling. But let's say Trevor Lawrence is a can't-miss kind of guy. And the question I would ask Stephen A., the question I would ask Molly, the question I would ask Max is, if you were coming out of school right now, would you go play for the Miami Dolphins? Would the Miami Dolphins be an organization and a team that you would play for?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, right? So, and the reason you wouldn't have 2 years ago is the reason that Stephen A. says he wouldn't want to go to the Jets. So just because a team is mired down in the situation they are at that point doesn't mean that they'll stay there forever.
But that's not what I'm accusing them of.
Trevor Lawrence.
That's not what I'm accusing them of.
That was accusing who of?
I'm sorry. When you look at the Jets organization from an organizational perspective, which is why it's not about their record. It's about the perpetual ineptitude of the organization. From Woody Johnson down to his brother, right on down to the GM, who, by the way, was picked by the coach, by the coach who never deserved his job to begin with, let alone the license to pick the GM.
He is not lying, Ryan.
Stephen A., I understand all of those things. All I'm saying is things turn around. Most of these great quarterbacks that get picked, sometimes you don't go to the best organization or to the best situation.
I'll change my mind when they fire Gase.
Sometimes you just got to figure it out.
Ryan,
I'll change my mind when they fire Gase.
So sometimes you just got to figure it out. All I'm saying is this. You don't pick going back to school over making millions of dollars.
I understand.
You don't do it. It's never helped anyone. No one's ever ended up in a better situation. Peyton Manning went back, situation was the same. Didn't win the Heisman. Charles Woodson did. He didn't win a national championship neither. Andrew Luck, same deal. Or you can be like Matt Leinart, go back to school, you have this great USC team, you don't win the Heisman, you don't win the national championship, and you drop 9 spots in the draft. It doesn't always work out.
Let alone if you get hurt.
But what stays is this. Exactly. That guaranteed money stays.
One thing I just want to throw out there, the Jets do have draft picks. They do have cap space. Would you argue, Ryan, that it'd actually be a worse situation to go to the Giants?
No, I don't say that. And here's why I don't say that. Like, I actually do agree with Stephen A. about the historical value of having a good organization. The reason... When Eli Manning came out, obviously he wanted to be in New York. He didn't want to be in the AFC. But the reason the Giants were a good spot, even though they were picking fourth, was because this organization, he didn't want to go. This organization understood winning. This organization understood what they could be. And I think you saw that with the Giants. And I still think the Giants have that type of opportunity.
That's why when you say what you said about Miami, I get it. but the Jets are one of those organizations that you feel like can actually hinder the development of good players. You know, it's drafting and development.
Well, especially quarterback situation matters so much.
My last point,
and you're not in Miami.
My last
At least
point,
in,
my last
Miami
point,
in the
real
warm
quick.
weather.
I fire Gase before Thanksgiving. I insert Greg Williams, and I run the rest of the season with